All right, rock and roll. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Kenji Shimada here, Rolling Mic Studio, rocking our official first session of East Coast Insights, coming in live. Fingers crossed, it's all going to go gravy. Yeah, thank you for joining me. For those that are watching live, thank you so much for coming in. And also for those that will be watching later, hope this is an insightful show for everybody to get an understanding of what's going on inside of the ecosystem. So I'm here currently situated inside of Gold Coast, and as I mentioned in my first video, there's lots going on here. There's a lot of startup tech entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people that are shifting in from the investment landscape. So today we're starting off with Mr. Jason Atkins, coming from TORUS Club. We'll be getting him on soon. And we've got a few other people going to chat. Joshua Klustein from CMD Software, and Rory Orr, who's got investment, a platform for crypto and commodities. So he's going to chat a little bit into his journey, where it's come from, where it's going at the moment. And so, yeah, first and foremost, welcome to the platform. In the link of this show, you will be able to see the place where you can put in your insights, your updates coming in from the ecosystem itself, because I think more and more, and if you're a builder out there, I think it's starting to get to a point where you wonder, where is everybody else at the moment? Who is building what? What are these tools and what are these things that are coming out right now that is exciting? And is things that we're looking forward to. And for those investors out there, I know there's been a lot of conversation on the Investment Council of Gold Coast, but also from the state government side of things and federal, that they're also just trying to get eyes on some of these people that are out there right now, who are the builders, who are the investors. And yeah, I hope this becomes a bit of a place where you can hear from. Please feel free to reach out to these guests if you want to say, thank you for sharing some information, because there are some truly great people that I'd love to get onto this show. And, benefit of connecting with other people in the ecosystem. And so I'll just do a quick little update. Coming up for the first Friday of February, we've got the Mondrian event from the Currents community. That'll be coming up. I'll put links into the show notes here as well. You can check that out. I'll put all the links accordingly. That's going to be 11:30 on the 6th of Feb. Come check it out with all the builders inside of this Gold Coast ecosystem right now. But like I said, this is East Coast Insights. So Gold Coast, there's so much going on, but I know that reaching further out, there is people in Brisbane, people in Sunshine Coast, Northern New South Wales, and Sydney that are also doing some really amazing things. And so if you are in those areas, please feel free to jump on, submit your stories there, submit your company updates, and I'd love to have you on the show. And so, yeah, I just want to make sure it's a free for all. And I think going on, even today, even going on one of these tech walks, it was just nice to see and hear from the people that are actually building at the moment and what's going on inside of their businesses. And so every time there is just a golden nugget, that comes in from connecting with people, with having a real conversation. And those golden nuggets, for me anyway, have really pivoted and shifted how I've gone about doing my own business and the things that I've learned from a lot of people that are in the space currently. And so, yeah, this has been the journey. Stick it all together, get the people involved, and yeah, the real world connections are where it's at. So looking for more and more people that are going to be jumping in and connect on LinkedIn, come to these events. There's a lot of events that are coming up. I'll have a directory that's going to start to come. There's a Currents directory inside of their website. I'll also have another directory coming soon that I've got some help with from MVPB. We'll be putting together a little bit of a curated list of events happening inside the Gold Coast ecosystem. So if you follow this link, you can also share your event details that are coming up. Please feel free, chuck those in. I will do a tail end at the end of these episodes where I'll share the events that are coming up, links to all of those so that people can go to. And like I said, what is the best way that we can get above the noise these days? And I notice more and more the digital is great. The digital is powerful, but in person and having real conversations is probably one of the most powerful ways to really grow. And, it's easy. If you're a builder, if you're a founder, if you're an investor out there, it's very easy to, get stuck in our own little worlds, our own little bubbles, and we're building, and maybe some of the problems that we're facing are problems of our own, we think, yet there are other people that have trekked those paths before. And so it's just so great to have a conversation with those people and, hear what's going on from there. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the agenda of what this show will be about. If there's anything, please chuck them in the comments. If you've got some ideas, please chuck them in the comments. And this is where we'll be coming in from. And like I said, lots of people out there at the moment. Now, just currently waiting for my first guest to pop in there at the moment. But once we do, we'll jump on in. But East Coast Insights. And also East Coast Insights, if you think there's a better name for this show, I was also thinking, please feel free to pop that in there. I'm all ears and all ideas for what could be a better name for the ecosystem show at the moment. The news desk is where we are coming from. And so, yeah, please feel free to chuck those comments in. And also, yeah, please don't feel shy to share the updates. I think that's one thing about Australia where we might feel a little bit shy to be, patting ourselves on the back and sharing some of those golden nuggets that are our business achievements and milestones. But I think it's very important to be able to, share those and feel proud about what we've done here. And also it just gives so much more inspiration and motivation, I think, to those people out there that are also building and looking for ways to achieve and solve these problems. And so I think this is why it's also really crucial for people to share their voice, people to share what's going on inside of their business. What are they doing? What are we trying to achieve? How are we going about it? Because I don't know if any of you out there have tried to build some AI agents like myself and, hitting certain walls or trying to work with certain products, and it's made it challenging, but if you could have just talked to one or two people that had already gone on that journey, gone on that adventure, it does make it monumentally easier to be able to, make a difference. And so, this is the journey at the moment. And like I said, please feel free to jump on the website. Josh Clouston from CMD Software has created that website for me. So big shout out to Josh. Josh has also been taking on board the 6:30 Tully walks. We do 6:30 walks from Tully Creek, and you can jump in from there if you ever want to meet. But I'll go from here. I got Mr. Jason Atkins joining us at the moment. Jason is from TORUS Club, and he is going to be sharing a little bit about what they're working on at the moment, some of their AI incubators, and some of the funds that they are working on. So, Mr. Jason Atkins.
Hi, Kenji. Good to see you, mate.
Likewise, man. How you doing?
Always good. You know how it is.
Oh, mate. Busy. Starting off into the new year.
Yeah.
Now you've got here, so TORUS Club, you've got Rally, and you've got another one at the moment. You've got two venture funds that you're building right now. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So going with a platform strategy, looking to leverage the network and the brand that we built at Cake and have as much innovation impact as we possibly can. So yeah, we've got a fund in Australia that's investing in pre-seed and seed. We're setting up another one out of New Zealand. I've got Rally, which is coaching pre-seed and seed stage founders to get funded because it's just like insanely hard. And I've built an incredibly effective way to help them do that. Currents is our community group because, founders need community, operators, investors need community.
Okay.
We're a little bit like aliens, in the real world. So I feel like we need somewhere to hang out with like-minded people. So that's what Currents is all about. And then, recently did a joint venture with this great new Gold Coast star. Her name is Lenka, and that's Born to Be Alive. And we're going to be building some really cool AI together with Lenka. So pretty pumped about those businesses and the impact they can have.
Yeah, Lenka is sort of helping out with building some of your AI agents inside of the business.
Yeah, so AI for startups. So, MVPs for brand new, because it's just such a great time to be building. You can rebuild small, medium, and large, businesses very quickly with AI. We're huge believers in that. So as well as AI products for existing, businesses, because everybody needs to be embracing it, in some way, shape, or form, to cut it in 2026 and beyond. So yeah, pretty stoked with that. And Lenk will be, co-leading our AI incubator. So just about to announce it. In February, it will happen. So at the end of February, our goal is to have it live. We're going to build 6 new AI companies in 90 days, starting in Feb. So that'll
Yeah,
be
wow.
building the product and launching it, using Rally to get funding ready, and then having a go-to-market and marketing partner to handle the distribution side of things. So yeah, super pumped about that.
Rally is the fund that's going to be tied to the AI incubator.
Yeah, so the TORUS fund will be backing the incubator, and
Mm-hmm.
then Rally will be providing the capital raising coaching. Born to be Alive will be building the product. So and then Currents, of course, will be bringing the community together. So making sure people know. So if you're a founder and you want to build and launch one, bring your idea, and if you're successful, we'll build and launch it with you. Or if you just really want to
Mm.
be involved in AI and you don't have the best idea, we actually already have like 6 AIs, 8, 10, because Lanker and a few of us have been building like crazy.
Yeah.
And we need founders to run these things. So yeah, if you're not sure, just come and check it out. We're going to be running running a matchmaking process, and the fund will be together with Lanker and I making the decisions about which things we're going to build and grow.
Will that matchmaking process, is that going to be part of the incubator, or will that be a pre-initiative?
That's the pre-initiative, yeah. So we'll spend about the next month or so talking to people, getting it out there, matchmaking. We've got some really good ideas about what we think should be built and can be built, and areas where we think we can be most successful. Obviously, it's really hard at the moment. There's so much going on and everything's moving so fast. Of course, we don't know for sure, but we need to be as smart as we can and as innovative as we can. And we need to be thinking, with our future brains, to try and make the right decisions here, because yeah, it's moving fast.
Well, you're not sure of thinking big, are you, Jason? And
Keep it.
well, I guess how can people find you if they're looking to, I guess, participate, or they'd love to sort of talk to you about this?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn all the time, so I'm easy to find on there. Hit me up. Yeah, hit the fund up. So the fund is hello@toruscap.vc. That's spelt like it's Taurus, like the energy field, not like the bull. So a Taurus field is an energy field,
Yep.
which we feel like is just such a, has such a beautiful alignment to innovation, because the Taurus field is constantly regenerating itself, like we are an innovation. So it's TORUS
Yep.
CAP.vc. So hit up the fund, hit up Lanka, hit up Kane, hit up Wade. We're all going to be involved. So yeah.
And I know that you're a man that loves challenges, Jason. Bring them on, as you say. What's some of the challenges that you're, I guess, facing or overcome, or little golden nuggets that you got from some obstacles that you went through?
Yeah. So, my challenges are a bit different to most. Just recently, moved from operating role at Cake into the president role there, and then now trying to have as big an impact as possible. So I'm in that crazy exited founder next stage situation. And so yeah, I just had the challenge of trying to work out, did I want to kick back or did I want to go hard? And unfortunately I can't sit still, so I didn't really have a choice. So I'm going as hard as possible. The challenge I have now is trying to build a platform from scratch, in a really short space of time. So we've just validated several, early stage businesses, and now we're spinning them all out into separate businesses. So I have to get them all going. I have to get the team going. I have to get the culture going, the corporate structure set up, have new brands and, everything kind of all at once. So, I have That's very challenging, but it's also very exciting. I like to focus on the opportunity, and I like to just always acknowledge that I was built for this. I love the challenge, not be scared by it, but get up every day and embrace it.
Yep.
And then I suppose just do what you can every day. When doing a lot and feeling the pressure, it seems like a never-ending mound of insurmountable problems. But you can only do one day's worth of stuff every day. So I feel like that's a really important learning for everyone that's taking on something big. Is just think big, go big, but then every day just do what you can, and be kind to yourself. Look after your health. Look after your health.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself. Don't let the big mountain get you down.
Oh man, I hear. Hey, and you mentioned that obviously with this incubator, I'm looking for those founders to sort of jump in, share if they want to be part of something. Is there anything else that you're looking for, you need in the business? I know Lenka's come on board, the superpower that's sort of been part of it. Is there something else you're looking for right now?
So we're hiring a general manager or a community manager for Rally. So I'm currently running Rally as well as running the group, and we need to sort that out ASAP. So if you're a startup-minded, community-minded person that really wants to be part of something big and have a big impact in innovation, we're just about to launch that role. We do have a finance manager role going, so we're building the team. We definitely great founders and ideas for the incubator. On the fund side of things, we're investing in pre-seed and seed. So we're investing in AI, of course, health tech, and cutting edge technologies like robotics, space, advanced manufacturing, and things like that. So yeah, we're investing, we're hiring. We're going to New Zealand this week. So if you're in New Zealand, or if you know people in New Zealand, we're going to be there tomorrow until Saturdays. We're running a few little events over there. Okay. And as always, come along to our current events. They're awesome. We've got walks. We've got runs now with the startup striders. And on February the 6th at the Mondrian, which is a beautiful hotel here in Burleigh on the Gold Coast, we're going to have 150 or 200 absolutely epic people like Kenji and all our friends there for, just great chats, great connections. It's all about having fun and hanging out with cool, like-minded people, but you almost always learn something great or meet somebody great at these events. So yeah, do come along to that as well.
Meet in person. I always say such a huge thing, underrated. And lastly, because you've got Currents, obviously, which is the main community function that is building at the moment. What would be the differentiation you say with Rally and Currents? You said you're looking for the Rally, someone to head that at the moment.
Yeah, so Rally is very much about capital raising. So that'll be working with founders to make sure that, so that's like building a community of capital raising founders and then getting them in, making sure they got the education and the Rally cohort. So we'll run 4 cohorts a year, helping founders get funded. So that role is very much about the capital raising side of things. Currents is much more broad. It's for, early, mid, late stage founders, investors, operators, anyone that's like interested in and passionate about innovation and entrepreneurship. That's what Currents is all about. So it's more of a fun community group for everyone. It's about innovation, wellness, and sport now. Whereas Rally is like, let's get these early stage founders funded. Let's really get some of these companies off the ground.
So you're looking for someone that's also just in that space, that's been in that capital raising space as well.
Yeah, capital raising space is a bonus because it does add a bit of credibility. But I really think that role is more about passion for startups and innovation, and a love, for a community and making sure that the members succeed.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, like Jason was saying, Mondrian, 6th of Feb, he'll be there. Tuesday Tech Walks, come check them out. Lots of things going down, so feel free to join us on all these. And thanks so much for joining me, Jason. I'll chuck all your links in there. Come have a chat and come meet us, and I'm sure he'd be open to speak about all the crazy ideas, as Jason's willing to go to the moon.
Let's go big. Thanks for having me, Kenji.
Mate. Thanks so much, Jace. Appreciate it.
See you, man.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you so much to Mr. Atkins for joining us. Now, coming up next, I've got Mr. Joshua Clouston. Like I said, took our walk as well today. Now, CMD Software, They build bespoke software for businesses that have, they've outgrown the off-the-shelf products of founder solutions to industry-specific problems. So we've got Josh coming in from CMD. I'm just going to pop him in now. Mr. Josh, how do you do? What's going on, mate? Thanks for joining.
Hey, Sergi. How are you, mate? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know. We saw each other this morning. Rock and roll. Let's go.
Just one day, lucky me.
Yeah, let's go again. So for you guys at the moment, so you guys are building bespoke software for companies at the moment. You've got here that you've got an AI-powered senior software engineer that's come in, and also Easy Shield has got a bit of a fraud prevention structure for enterprise. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the AI-empowered software engineer is more referring to kind of how we're positioning ourselves and what we're focusing on for 2026. So in our industry, we've got a lot of saturation in the market with people vibe coding solutions, which I personally think is great. Like if I didn't have any experience and you were new to this and you could spin up an app and see something in real time, I think that's great and people should definitely do that. I think it's very useful too to help people kind of visualize and see quickly what that is. But the important distinguishment for us is vibe coding is having the AI write the lines of code that you don't understand. And then coding would be it writes the lines, but you as a senior software engineer still dictate what's acceptable and what's not. And the way that we distinguish that is an AI empowered senior software engineer would still get to the same outcome. They're just getting there much quicker with AI. So we're focusing on upskilling engineers and playing in that domain. That seems to be a big focus for us this year, and it's working really well.
Yeah, how's that landscape been recently? Obviously, see the last few years, like you said, vibe coding's been coming out, and obviously, it's seeming like that consultation to get people to cross that bridge from vibe code, that original, idea, but then get it across the line. What's that been like for you guys?
It's been, for me personally, and for us at Command, it's been fun. It's been really cool to see people be able to build what was normally inaccessible for most. And I think tools like Replit and Lovable that allow you to get in, and there's a self-hosted portion of it where you don't have to host the applications and delve into that complexity. You can just write into a chat what your idea is and see something come to life. I think that is like really cool for people. I think where it falls apart, at least at the moment, and over the last couple of years, is when you want to take that to production. There's been some horror stories of, secret keys and security issues, and it makes logical sense, right? Like if you don't understand each line of code, obviously there's going to be issues, but you also don't want to do it the old way if you don't have to, where you write every single line. There's a balance to be struck, and I think for us, we're finding that balance where you've got the seniority, where they've had the experience and they know why things exist. And I'd love to train more people and build that later, but for now, that's kind of our focus, to just continue dialing those processes and servicing our clients. And I think the key missing piece there is like you can build a great product, but you're trapped into like Replit, Lovable's service, and they will charge per usage and come up with different fees and fee structures, and you're just tied to that. Replit's got a functionality where I haven't done it, but allegedly you can export your code base and self-host it and continue working wherever you want. I'm yet to do that, but apparently you can do that. So it's cool to see that they're trying to make it less friction, trying to get more users on there. But overall, I think the more people that are building, the better, because the more you do it, the more you realize, like, this is quite complex. I need someone for this.
That's why I stopped building. Because the back end is so much of it, right? Like you said, data security, like what's going on, where it's all hosted, what is the actual functionality that you can engage with later when it becomes more than 5 people using this thing, right?
Yeah, and I think my like general advice from being in the industry for like the last 10 years, going to uni, studying software engineering, like my general advice would be, if you want to build stuff, absolutely go do that. But just keep in mind that once you go to market and you have customers on your platform, like you're responsible for their data, you're responsible for the service and product offering that you're offering. So make sure that you feel comfortable that you're taking people's data and you're doing the right thing by them, and there are no security issues.
And does that sort of tie into what Easy Shield is doing with fraud prevention for the enterprises and SMBs?
Yeah, Easy Shield's a very fun project that we're working on, partnering with Pipeline Capital, and that's in the payment fraud prevention space. So specifically for us, that's electronic fund transfers, like your BSB transfers. Businesses operate in that way because there's no fees to transfer directly. But the problem is, and how it works in the industry now, is a poor accountant gets text messages, emails, phone calls, like they just get bombarded through different channels of like, pay this, do this, and ultimately it's their responsibility to do the right thing. They can have all the checks and balances that they want, but if somebody compromises the owner of the company's email and sends them an email from their account saying, pay this person, I've spoken to them. Like there's so many ways to socially engineer fraud that it's not fair to have the accountant responsible for that.
And so you guys have built something that's able to track and trace what's going on if there is irregular activities within these transactions?
Easy Shield is. So we're building it out for enterprises first, and we're working on a SMB for every business to use, an SMB product for every business to use moving forward. But ultimately, we want to solve verify the person, verify the business, and verify the bank account is tied to the person and the business. Ultimately, putting the responsibility back onto the person that sent the invoice to say, hey, I want to get paid to this account. They should ultimately be the one that's saying, yes, that information is correct, not leaving it up to the accountant middle person to have funds go missing and go the wrong spot. Like it's an unfair expectation that the accountant can be across all of the different social engineering fraud issues that are arising. You've got to have something that is software orientated, following business logic that verifies this person is who they say they are, they do have a legitimate business, and this bank account is tied to them.
And also you were mentioning, because it seems with that prevention is so apt to, like you said, you guys are working with Pipeline at the moment, and you know those levels of transactions are at, you know, different different values than my 15, 20, 100,000 bucks here and there. Like it's at a different place, right? Which so it's like works so well for those investors and family offices.
Man, and ultimately, like we've all had that gut feeling at some point where you go to transfer someone and you're like, fuck, I hope this is the right account. Like banks are starting to introduce the confirmation of payee through like mandatory legislation where you have to provide the user some sort of feedback of like, this account doesn't match this account name, or this account matches this person's name. Like that's something new that's been implemented to try to stop that direct transfer. We're one of the first service providers to get that and be able to offer it to other businesses and package it into a software product. So that's one of our pieces of our verification engine. That helps make sure it is going to the right person.
Yeah, awesome. And what has been some of the, I guess, challenges and roadblocks that have been coming up that you've got some golden nuggets out of whilst building this product?
What comes to mind is like we've been working this for over 18 months. So what Emily Munger quote, it ain't going to be that damn easy. And remembering that, you know, there's so many different problems and so many things that you can solve, but what pays actual dividends is focusing on that one problem, but finding a problem that resonates with you and the why is deep enough that you will keep persisting even when it seems mundane and boring, because ultimately that's what yields the best result. If it was easy, somebody else would have already solved it. And what we're trying to do is make Easy Shield such a simple product that people, how did this not exist? Look at it and go,
And is there anything you need right now? Are you building out anything that you're trying to reach out and, I guess, meet with certain people at the moment?
That's a really good question. I think what immediately comes to mind would be in an enterprise processing a high volume of payments. Easy Shield API product is first integrate initial offering. So accounts payable system to do those verifications, make sure that payments go out. Obviously, when you've got high value and high volume, you've got lots of different accountants and people trying to manage that, and it's a bit of a mess. So we're implementing that into enterprises to begin with. So if there's any enterprises out there that are processing high volume, high value payments and don't want the nightmare of not knowing where the funds are going, they want that bit of security to stop fraud, would love to have that conversation.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, more high value, high volume, because I guess that's when you're going to get tested, right? That's where the system is really going to be pushed to make sure, and you get to iron out all the kinks with those kind of clients at the moment.
We are looking to eventually doing the business to consumer. So, you know, like if you're trying to pay a house deposit or buy a new car, like there's those low frequency, high value transactions that are also very important. But yeah, the more repetitions we can get in and test it and get feedback, the better that the product would evolve. So if there's people out there that could benefit, then by all means reach out.
And Josh here is, who I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is taking the 6:30 Tally Tech walks that we were just talking with Jason before as well. I know it's only been 2 walks so far that you're leading, but how's it feeling, mate? It was already more numbers than last week, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think we went from 6 or 8 last week and we're up to 15 this week. So it's just nice, like those authentic conversations. And I think we spoke this morning too. I had an exit out of a different business and just getting back to community. And it's nice being in a place where you don't need anything. You just want to see cool connections and have those genuine conversations. It's a sounds cliche, but it's a very special, fun thing to be a part of. Like, business can be very lonely. And a lot of the time business owners go undervalued and underappreciated. So it's nice to have a space where business owners can hang out and feel seen and have those authentic conversations and know they're not going to be judged because they're talking to other people who are in the arena doing the thing.
Yeah, or even just conversations that you can have people at the same level as you, right? Because I know I was not part of, well, I was part of it, but I realized I was not able to keep up. But there was another person that they were chatting about building software and all these other integrations. And, I could just see that it was nice for both parties, that they could relate with each other on some quite technical conversations. So,
yeah, that's cool. I dig that.
Yeah. So I'll put the links in there. Check Josh out, CMD Software. If you guys, like I said, if anyone's out there, I know a lot of investors in this community at the moment that maybe are in that category. Check them out. 6:30 Tuesdays. If you want to have a chat with Josh in person, he'll be there. But apart from that, mate, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it. And I will see you again soon.
Pleasure, Kenji. Thanks for having me. See you guys.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Sweet. Mr. Josh Clouston. Whew. This is what I mean. There's just, high caliber people here in this community right now, and it is just fantastic. So I'm going to be introducing my next guest coming on, Mr. Rory Orr. I met Rory through Currents community as well. He's currently helping out and has been part of the TORUS Club. I'll let him share in what structure, but Rory has come from crypto and now is moving into the investment education landscape with commodities, as there's been interest that has been piqued with Rory and what's been going on in these larger systems, and he's been expanding his education further, which he's going to share with other people. He's got a platform that's coming soon. So Mr. Rory Orr, how you doing, mate?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me on the kickoff show. Appreciate it.
Oh, mate, thank you so much. I know that we said, we've got 15-minute allocation here, but we could talk for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
First and foremost, if you could share just how you got into, I guess, from your crypto background, what was that? And, how has that led you into commodities and what's to come for the platform?
Yeah, okay. Cool, mate. Well, I was having a long, hard think about what to chat about today because, like we said, we could talk for hours about all this sort of stuff and, everyone's had their own journey. I've had mine. I was that guy many, many years ago badgering the shit out of people about Bitcoin and that they should get it and wiring money off to obscure Japanese. Wiring money overseas, to Japanese gaming websites and hoping that it's all legit, bringing it back to Josh's thing, you know what I mean? I hope this is going to the right place, and then getting the coins and getting them off and making sure it's safe and just going on that whole journey. And then over the years, I found at that time, timing and cycles is a very, very powerful thing that I'm coming to recognize more and more these days. We'll get into commodities in a second, but my goal back then was to try and educate as many people as possible on how to be their own bank, because that was really the idea of Bitcoin in its infancy. It was like, you can be your own bank. There's massive issues with the banking system. Your money's being, inflated away every year. So we've got this system that kind of flips that on its head, and you can be in charge of your own funds. But going back that long, it was, there was very few people that actually listened back then. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't till probably 2017 came along, and, Ethereum was on the scene and ICOs were all the rage, and Bitcoin went over $10,000 per coin for the first time. That had all these people coming back to me going, "Hey man, remember that thing that you were talking to me years ago about? Can you help me? I want to get some." And I was like, "Oh shit, this is interesting. Like, what do I do?" So, man, I spent literally hundreds of hours one-on-one or in small group like just teaching people from the very, very basics, like, hey, before we meet up, get these things. You're going to need them for your security. When you come, I'm going to show you how to set up your wallet, how to back it all up securely, thinking about things like what if the house burns down or your laptop craps itself, having all those contingencies in play before we get started, and then get into, okay, now let's get this stuff so you're not going to lose it. But I found that, more than 50% of people then still just had a lot of insecurities around it. And they were like, look, man, can we just give you the money and you manage it for us? So I resisted that for a long time. And then finally around 2020, I started up a fund and started doing that. And it was a great part of the journey too. But now we've kind of come around full circle with, now we can segue into commodities. So commodities to me was only something that came around about 5 years ago, because everyone kind of thinks like, oh, boring old commodities. What even are they? Obviously they're the things we use every day. They're the things that are in this phone that I'm talking to you on. They're the coffee that's over there. They're the aluminium and the glass and the gold and silver. And, some of those things get a bit of talk, but not all of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And once you come to realize that they actually move massively as well, they have these long super cycles, they call them, which are like decade-long cycles. So you really get to see the supply and demand dynamics of economics play out a little bit in a bit more of a controlled way. You still have the influence of weather effects or geopolitical events that take things off as well. But it's a great place to learn as well. So that's where what me and my buddy Jeff Doherty now are doing. We're launching a platform soon called Orr Code, where we're aiming to educate people now about economics in general, markets, trading, from the very basics, because there's a lot of platforms out there that kind of already assume from the get-go that you already have a certain level of understanding when you land to us. Whereas I find that most of my friends and family and regular people I chat to don't really have much, and they want to start with the basics. So we're starting at the very basics, at the very bottom with all this stuff, and leading the way through, all the way through to, using more advanced AI tools for financial analysis and that kind of thing too. But really leading people all the way through from the fundamentals.
And you were saying to me that like commodities is a great way to get into understanding investment, like you said. And it's not that there's always risk, but it's a lower risk than like some of these other things that are out there. Crypto, yeah, sure, it's fun, maybe max gain, but max loss, the risk ratio is quite high. But you're saying that it's a great place to get in, learn, understand what's going on. How do you invest your money and start to understand, like you said, cycles and trends?
Exactly, yeah. Because the thing with Bitcoin and crypto, like, it's obviously very volatile. It has huge gains, and then in the past it's had many like 90% plus bear markets, and some of them really fast as well. Because you think about it, the stock market's open for certain hours Monday to Friday, whereas the crypto market's open 24/7. Once momentum gets going, either way, it can have really powerful effects. So, commodities on the other side is way less risky because you've got huge demand globally every day for oil and, iron ore and coffee and wheat and like whatever commodity you want to look at, there's huge markets for it. So the risk side of it is really low compared to cryptocurrencies. However, the upside is still massive potential. Like you can make, when I learned this, there's a great book I'd recommend people reading called Hot Commodities. It's what got me started on this. Like I like to look to the wise old investors for most of my wisdom if I can get it from them. There's a guy called Jim Rogers. I think he's in his 70s now, but he's one of the commodities gurus, and he wrote this great book. And, I sort of learned from him that you could make like 60 times your money trading sugar in the space of, say, 2 to 3 years. And my mind was just like, what? Like, how did I not know about this? And he just jokes about it, saying, yeah, well, that's the system. The system's taught everybody not to know about this stuff. It's way less risky, but there's huge potential in it as well. So yeah, I'm really excited. That's where we're going to start with the business of teaching people first about the commodities cycles and how that works and the different types of commodities, and then beginning to get into actually investing in them and moving up from there.
And how did you get into this current community here? It was through TORUS Club and with Jason as well. You guys are working together to help the fund?
Yeah, exactly. No, I was a lead investor in TORUS Fund, and really excited to be backing the great work that, Jason Kane and all the boys are doing there. A lot of great connections and experience that he already has, as well as, a lot of intelligence and strategically a lot of good things those boys are doing. So very excited to be backing that. And I was born on the Gold Coast too, in the Southport Hospital back when it was still called that. So excited to be backing the Gold Coast and Southeast Queensland in this space as well. So yeah, currency's been good. Sorry I missed the walk this morning, boys, but I'm trying to get to a few of those when I can. Like Josh was saying, like they're very nice. You know, I've just had totally unexpected random conversations every time I've been on one, and they've all been great about all sorts of different topics, you know. So yeah, highly recommend getting along and really excited to see that grow.
Yep. And is that something as well, you're just keeping an eye out for what other, startups and businesses are also happening here? Like you said, you've got the trading platform, but also just keep an eye out for things to invest in as well?
Ideally, yeah, exactly. Like it's really a great space at the moment. Obviously, Jason, the boys are focusing a lot on the deep tech side of things, and there's a lot of exciting stuff going on there, being heavily backed by some government departments as well. I'd personally love to see some more, crypto adoption on a government level in future as well. There's some things that I'll hopefully be able to talk about in near future with that. It's working on that kind of thing. And just always been passionate about my own investments and trying to look after my family as well. Like I'm by no means born rich. We were in a regular family and, parents separated when I was a kid, and there was some tough financial moments in that. And as I learned about how the whole system was working, there was a lot of question marks that I kind of asked about that. And we're at this really, back to what I was talking about, with the timing as well. Like at the moment, I feel like if you go back 10 years ago, when I was trying to preach about, crypto and whatever, most people didn't have the ears to listen at that point because life was okay, the world was okay, right? But if you fast forward to today, I think a lot more people notice that there's something wrong in a lot of ways, and I'm feeling the pinch, and I'm finding it hard to provide for my kids, and we can't go on that holiday we wanted to go on. I'm just feeling squeezed, and I need to seek something. That's the common theme I keep coming across now, and that's why this thing's being developed, is because it's actually the right timing as well. A lot of people out there going, look, we need something. I don't even know where to start. Can you help me, man? So that's the plan. I don't want to also have to go around and do one-on-one sessions with everyone and spend hours. I want to be able to scale my time as well. So that's the idea about doing it with a platform. We'll still have direct interaction with members, Jeff and I, but being able to scale things and help a lot more people is the idea as well. So I'm passionate about that. I don't have to be doing this stuff, but I really want to help people. I love humanity. I've got a little kid. I want the future to be bright for her and my nieces and nephews, and I want that to be for everyone. I don't want to be eating the bugs and doing all that shit. So I want something better. So I'm trying my best to do my bit.
And so with everything at the moment, like you said, the platform is coming at soon. Is there anything that you need or you're looking for at the moment to help out with any feature or function of the business?
Not currently. I think the beta version, I think we're kind of got a bit of a handle on. We just need a few more weeks to hopefully get that out there. I've been on a bit of a deep dive as much as I can on the AI side of things. My partner, Jeff, he's much more, wise in that department, but actively trying to have more conversations around that and learn more about how to utilize that properly, because especially when it comes to financial things, it's very specific, and AI tends to drift sometimes. My first time using it, I was like, man, this sucks. What's it doing? What did it give me that answer for? And it was frustrating. But then I realized a lot of that responsibility was falling on me, not prompting it correctly or not asking the right questions and that kind of stuff too. So we're developing tools that will help make it easy for people to analyze their own stuff where we've already done the back end work, so they don't have to go through that frustration. So I'd like to connect with more people in that space and keep learning myself. At the Mondrian event, I'll be there as well, so it'd be good to have some conversations around that and see what happens afterwards. And just enjoying being connected to the community as well, and see what good stuff comes out of it. I think the next, we're at the starting gun's gone off in this latest commodities bull market, and we're at the precipice of that. So over the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be huge potential gains to be made by people, or huge potential losses to be made if you sit on your hands and do nothing. Like if you go back, the most similar time in history to what we're potentially looking at now with rising populism, super high levels of inflation and interest rates potentially coming back as well, like what happened in the 1960s and 1970s. That time, if you go from, say, I think, correct me on the dates, but I think it was, say, 1968 to roughly 1980, 1982, the Dow Jones went nowhere in that time. However, in that time, it was very volatile as well. So if you just sat on your investment in the stock market in that time, in nominal terms, you didn't go anywhere. But when you took into account the crazy inflation that happened during that time, most people lost an average of 70% of their wealth. So I believe that's the kind of thing that we're coming into at the moment that people are not aware of. They're not going to get made aware of this by watching the TV or flicking through Facebook, and like the regular media channels and education system. They're not incentivized to let the masses know about this kind of stuff. So really excited about potentially trying to help move the needle in our small little way in that space if we can.
And so to all the listeners, you might, hear why I was excited to get Rory on the channel as well, because I'm obviously looking to figure out how can I, intelligently apply my money into certain directions. And yeah, I think there's so much wisdom to be gained. So please, everybody, feel free to reach out to Rory if you want to have a conversation about what he's building, what's coming on or when the platform is going to be here. Please feel free. But I will also be looking forward to having Rory back to give us some updates, market updates, just see what's going on. I'd say they'd be a part of the show up and coming. So yeah, excited to have you back, mate.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. No, there's lots of stuff we can get into. I mean, I was even going to mention, there's a crazy solar storm hitting the Earth right now, which is more powerful than one that we've seen in over 20 years. I think year back to 2003, the last time one like this hit. So if anyone out there's feeling a little bit weird, there's intense levels of things going on out there. And, if you think back to 2003, what was that? Was the kickoff of the Iraq War, while we're staring down at Iran at the moment. We're coming into the year of the Chinese astrology, the fire horse. These are all topics for future conversations. But if you go back to the last year of that, it was we saw the escalation of the Vietnam War. We saw Chairman Mao in China and all the horrific stuff that happened during that time. So for various reasons, it looks like we're heading into a pretty turbulent time. I try my best to try and spot trends, and I've been pretty good at that, spotting, better than average. So, that's the kind of thing I want to impart as well. The education platform is not going to go too much into that sort of stuff, apart from in the community side. If people got questions around that, happy to chat about it. But it's a nice thing to get into chatting about on these kind of conversations, because we can go anywhere, like some of the stuff we were joking around about in the testing version of this, it'd be good to get into some of that sort of stuff, because I'm sure not everyone will want to listen to it, but a decent amount of people, will have ears for it.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going to be affecting everyone's livelihood one way or another, right? Whether you like it or not, believe it or not, the fact that these, economic trends shifts, what's happening in these global economies, as much as, I try not to look at it too much because, it sometimes gets into my mind, but I think it's really important, especially if everyone's taking their finances seriously and how they want to, utilize or better move their money into directions, that's going to help to grow. So I look forward to having more of those conversations. But today, Rory, thanks so much for joining me, mate. Much appreciated. Like I said, all the links will be in the notes. Check him out and have a conversation. He'll be at the Mondrian. Come have a chat. So thanks for joining me.
No, thanks again, buddy. And thanks for doing it. Thanks for kicking it off. It was a good idea, and good to see you actually take action on it and kick it off.
We did it.
Yeah.
Awesome, mate.
Congrats.
Speak to you soon. Thank you so much.
See you, mate.
All right. And there it is. Super simple. East Coast Insights. Thank you so much to all the guests that joined. Like I said, I'll be putting everyone's links into the notes here. So please feel free to reach out to anybody, Jason, Josh, or Rory, that, piqued your interest. But this is what it's all about. I want to get people on board to share what's going on inside of their business, because everyone's building some cool stuff, whether it's in coaching, whether it's in finance, whether it's in products, whether it's in health. There are just some amazing things that are going on at the moment and so much to learn. And, all these tools that are being built currently doesn't always have to be sector agnostic in where the application lies. So learn from everybody. Please feel free to reach out to, cool people, share your comments, share your thoughts. But apart from that, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I shall see you again next week with some new guests coming up, and I will speak to you then.